I'm the conscious lesbian on the go, spouting spirituality so that we can grow. I'm the conscious lesbian on the go, spouting spirituality so that we can grow. I'm the conscious lesbian on the go, spouting spirituality so that we can grow. Hi, I'm Tyffany Howard, and this is Let's Talk. The first conversation of Let's Talk was about self-love. The second one was about that love requires giving. Why are those two important? They're important to today's talk. Today's talk is about intimacy. Intimacy requires self-love, loving yourself, getting to know yourself. Getting to know yourself also means getting to know your body, getting to know your likes and dislikes, what you want, being honest with yourself and being able to communicate that honesty of what you want, what you need to your partner. When you're able to communicate that to your partner and be honest, that's self-love. When you know what your body likes, that's self-love. Love requires giving, which means you have to give away or let go of that reservation about yourself, that reservation, that negativity, that fear that you're holding back and hiding from your partner in order to give, in order to be open. The reservation could be a fear about your body. You may be self-conscious about your body. That reservation could be that you are still hanging on to a past partner and you don't want to tell your current partner that. Right? So before we get into our topic for today, intimacy, I have to tell you, and I know you know, there's a difference between intimacy and just banging all the time, okay? There's a difference. I know in our community there are some of you who are like bees. You go from flower to flower to flower to flower. And that if that's what you do, that's what you do. There's no right or wrong. There's no judgment. That's just what you do. But if it's something that you do that you don't want to do, it's not who you are. Okay? You may be one who likes to collect data, as Abraham Hicks says. You collect data. So you're going from flower to flower to collect data to see what you like, what you don't like. I believe, for me personally, I've, had enough sex to know what I like, what I don't like. Okay? What feels good to me and what doesn't feel good to me. But if you're doing that in our community and it's not who you are, not what you want to do, you have to ask yourself why. Why am I just sleeping around with all these different girls willy-nilly? I get drunk, I sleep around. Why am I doing it? Is there an emptiness? Is there a void? Is there a wound, an emotional wound that you're trying to heal or feel? You can't heal it that way. You're self-medicating. Okay, alcohol, drugs, whatever it is that you're using to self-medicate, that's a form of self-medicating. You have to get to the root of it. You have to heal that wound. You have to heal it. If you want one partner and you want to grow intimacy and grow your relationship, you have to heal that wound. Also, part of healing past wounds is to, if you are getting into a new relationship and you still have energy with your past partner, you still have feelings for your past partner, please, I suggest that you do not get into a new relationship. Give yourself some time to move on and get over that person, because if you don't, you're going to be taking that energy into that new relationship, and that will be a barrier. Okay? That won't be good for your new partner, and it's not good for you. If you're having an emotional affair with your old partner. You're still in contact, you still talked about the good old days, and remember when you did this, and remember when you did that, and you're having that connection. You know you're not done yet. Do not get into a new relationship until you have let go of that old energy. Okay? And as I stated, if you are one of the women in our community, like the bees, going around and going around and going around, trying out new flowers all the time, maybe one day there's going to be a flower that you really want, and she is going to just make your world explode. And she may know of your reputation of going around from flower to flower, and you may miss out on her. She may not be able to understand why you were doing what you were doing, because she may not be at that level of consciousness, or for whatever reason. So just know that if you're doing what you're doing as a form of medicating yourself, so that you won't feel that angst in your body, if you're lonely and you just want to go out and pollinate, there are other ways of handling it. If you're dealing with other issues, anger, and that's a way for you to relieve it, there are other ways of doing it. Because we're dealing with real people with real feelings, and someone could get hurt. And my friends, that's not love. And if that's what you do, tell the person that you're with, this is what I do. Sit down and have a talk. Hey, we're doing this. This is just a sleepover thing, okay? I don't want to be with you. I don't want to have a relationship. This is something I do. Can you take me on those terms? Can you just have fun for the moment, and then tomorrow's another day? Be honest with yourself that that's what you want, that's what you need, that's what you do. And be honest with the person that you're doing it with. Okay? Be loving. And that's loving to tell the person, tell someone that you are going to be with, this is who I am. Do you want to accept it or not? That's loving. So our talk today is about intimacy. Intimacy. Why do we want intimacy? Because we want to have a connection with another human being that helps us to grow and feel alive. Someone who witnesses our life with us and helps us to maneuver through life challenges with. We want healthy relationships, okay? We want to feel and experience the ultimate spiritual orgasm. And what's that? That's when you are connected with your partner spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Connected to your partner, where when you orgasm, it opens the crown chakra and all your other chakras to clarity and creativity and ideas, and there's no ego. The ego is out of the picture. There are no thoughts. It's just feeling of beautiful. But there are barriers to that. Fear, guilt, shame, worry, anxiety, financial disagreements, different expectations, body self-consciousness. You are having emotional or maybe having emotional or physical affairs with other women. Are you still connected to your past partner, and that partner's energy is in your energy and in the bedroom with you? You or your partner may be clingy or needy. So many things, negativity, right? Lack of trust, which is a big one. It was a big one, one of the big ones for me, right? I remember, I'm going to tell you a number of stories. I remember when I first realized that I loved women. So I met this woman I really liked, and we were going to have sex, make love. And I call up my girlfriend Sheila, who's lesbian, and I'm like, Sheila, I don't know what to do. This is my first time. What do I do? And she's like, calm down. She's like, Tiff, your body knows what to do. And she was right. My body knew what to do. Okay? But I had a barrier already. That barrier was I was afraid. I was living in fear because I didn't know if there was a right way, a wrong way, or whatever. I didn't know anything. I was a baby lesbian. Okay? And then I had a partner, later on had a partner who triggered anxiety in me and triggered my trust issue. I didn't trust her at all. Matter of fact, she kind of terrified me. I was healing at the time my mother issues with her. She represented my mother. So anytime we would have sex, I would not be open. It was difficult for me to open and to be open, right? Because I did not trust her at all. So I couldn't fully be open, and not only that, I was dealing with guilt and shame because deep down, I wanted to be naughty. She was very, very naughty. That's why I attracted her to me, okay? Because I wanted someone to help bring that out in me, and I wanted to start facing that part of myself. So I attracted someone to trigger that so I could face it. That's what we do in relationships. We're mirrors of each other. And so I was battling guilt and shame. Okay, I created a split mind. Some of you may call it schizophrenia. That's what I call it, a split mind. One hand wanting to be naughty, on the other hand having this personal identity that I'm a good girl. And I really wanted to be naughty. So I felt shame about wanting to be naughty and get down dirty. And that was a barrier to our intimacy. I could never really connect to her sexually. And I couldn't connect to her sexually also because I didn't trust her. I couldn't be fully open and enjoy my sexual experiences. And then once I realized that, realized all these things, that she was here to help me to heal those wounds and help me to heal another barrier, my sexual abuse. When I was 7 or 8, I was sexually molested by a guy from church. And then later, at the age of 29, when I was still dating men, I went out with a guy, and he took me back to my car, but he wouldn't let me out. He locked the door and said that you will not leave until you suck my dick. Horrifying. But I had to let go of those stories, let go of the attachment to that pain, to those horrifying experiences, in order for me to open and open. Because those experiences were barriers to my intimacy, and I didn't want barriers. I want to feel so much, all the beautifulness in life, because our Creator has given us eyes for pleasure, ears for pleasure, mouth and tongue for pleasure, feet for pleasure, a yoni for pleasure. We get to experience so much pleasure in so many different ways. with all those senses, right? And it's beautiful. So I had to let go of those stories of my pain and anguish and my sexual abuse, because they're not who I truly am. And they would have kept me stuck and prevented me from living and having full experiences with life and my sexuality. And because I didn't hang on to those things, and I took steps to get over those things, I met a beautiful girl who I was so spiritually in tune to. And the first night we made love, she could sense some apprehension in me. She was very in tune to me and to herself. She had to be in tune to herself to be in tune to me, because we are one and mirrors of each other. And she said, "Tiff, I won't hurt you. Open up." And I could feel her love and her sincerity and her kindness and gentleness, and I trusted her. So I opened up. I opened up completely and fully, and it was a beautiful experience. And I want that for you, if that's what you want for yourself. One of the barriers is you're self-conscious. Some of you may be self-conscious with your body. You may not love your body image. You may not like it. And that's part of that self-love. You have to love your body. You have to have a relationship with your body, with your own yoni. If you don't have a relationship with your yoni, how are you going to know what you like, what feels good to you? How are you going to communicate that to your partner? This is what I like. This is what I feel good. This is what makes me feel good. You have to know your body inside and out, okay? And in knowing that, when you have a partner, you have to be able to communicate that to your partner, your likes, okay? And have a partner willing enough to be able to give you what you need and what you want, who knows herself so well and loves herself that she's willing to give of herself to you, okay? And she has to know her yoni, and also be willing to know yours, right? You can make it a project together, okay? Work together on this issue. What I did was, I want to show you something. I have this book here, Women's Anatomy of Arousal. Great book, great resource to have. But I took 30 days after I broke up with my partner, 30 days where I had no sex. I got a huge mirror, about 2 feet tall, put it on the floor, and for 30 days I got to know my body, got to know my yoni. I looked at her, I touched her, I tasted her, I smelled her. I got to know the inside, the vulva, okay? I got to know just all the deliciousness of her for 30 days. And it transformed me and helped me to love my body. If you're conscious about what your body looks like, your yoni, you have to let go any images you have about your body. Our society says as women, we have to have a tight, small, neat yoni. Bull. A man came up with that. So we have that in our mind. So if our yoni isn't small or tight or neat, we are self-conscious about it. We're fear, so we can't be open, right? But your yoni's beautiful. Every woman ever created has her own unique yoni. No two yonis are the same. Wow. Wow. It's beautiful. In order for you to be open and blossom, you have to have a personal relationship with your yoni. And your partner has to want to have a personal relationship with your yoni, right? These barriers block intimacy. They're not for the bedroom. So you have to work through these barriers slowly, day by day, if you want intimacy, if you want to connect spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, in order to have the ultimate spiritual orgasm, in order to have beautiful, loving, deep, fulfilling relationships with your partner, sexual relationship, healthy sexual relationship with your partner, where you can look in your partner's eye when you're making love. And I know about the looking in the eye, okay? Because I used to not be able to look at my partner in the eye. Why? I was hiding something. That's a sign. You're hiding something. Your reservation, your fear, self-consciousness, something you're hiding. And if you're hiding something, it's a barrier. It's a barrier to your beautiful experience. It's a barrier to self-love. It's a barrier to giving. It's a barrier to receiving. It just is. So you have to work on those barriers. Whatever it may be. Drugs, alcohol, and there's a lot of alcohol issues in our community, right? A lot. You cannot have intimacy if you are inebriated. If you are relying on alcohol to medicate yourself, it's not going to work. Okay? It's just not going to work. It won't fill you up. It won't heal you. It just putting a Band-Aid on the wound. The wound is still there when you take the Band-Aid off, right? Very Long says that when we make a fear, a reservation, negativity a virtue, we either become it or we have to defend it to the external world. If you've made your self-consciousness with your body a virtue, if you've made your inability to communicate in your relationship or your emotional unavailability in your relationship a virtue, you will either become that, meaning continue to be emotionally unavailable, empty, hollow, or you will have to defend that. You will have to defend the fact that you don't trust anyone to the external world, right? If you've made mistrust a virtue, you will either become mistrust or you will continually have to defend why you don't trust. All barriers to intimacy. Resentment is a barrier to intimacy. Low self-esteem is a barrier to intimacy. Okay. More barriers if you're holding a grudge, if you can't forgive, you have to work on those things. And again, you have to be kind to your yoni. You can't call your yoni bad words and tell her she's ugly. How do you think she feels when you tell her that she's ugly, that she's not right, that she's not normal? You hurt her feelings. And then she contracts. She can't be open. She can't experience pleasure. You have to apologize to her. I did. I apologized to my yoni. I apologized to my yoni for having sex when I didn't want to have sex. I apologized to my yoni for not allowing her to experience pleasure. I apologized to my yoni for calling her ugly. I apologized to her, and that's what you must do if you have made your yoni a bad thing. She's not. She's beautiful. And the only way to start a new relationship with your yoni is to apologize to her and appreciate and embrace her, because she is a part of you, and that, my friends, is self-love. You won't be able to give, and she will not open and receive if you've bastardized her. So, my dear friends, we've come to the end of this conversation about intimacy. Beautiful word, beautiful vibration, intimacy. For there to be intimacy, you have to let go of the barriers. Again, whatever they may be, different expectations about the relationship. You have to communicate that to your partner. You have to know what you want and stop lying to yourself about what you want and what you need in order to communicate that to your partner. You have to know what you will do and what you want to in order to communicate that to your partner. When you have that conversation with your partner, ask, say, this is what I want, this is what I need, and I know when I'm getting it because it looks this way. Are you able to give it to me? If the answer is no, then you know it may be time for you to leave. If the answer is yes, then wow, so many things you can do. Wow, what a beautiful journey you've just started on, simply by communicating with your partner. You have to grow intimacy. Spend time with your partner, not on your cell phones, not at the computer, going out on dates, going camping, walking hand in hand to, on the park or on a beach or wherever you may be, having quiet time at home where you're facing each other, looking at each other in the eyes for 6 seconds. Try it. Try it and see if you can look in your partner's eyes for 6 seconds. If you can't, that's something you need to work on, right? Something you need to work on because you've become disconnected. Look deeply in your partner's eyes. When you do, you will become more connected. Communicate with your partner about your wants, her wants, your needs, her needs, anything that's going on with you physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. That's what she's there for. Ask her, are you here and willing to work through everything that we need to work through to maintain a healthy relationship and to grow? Are you still invested in this relationship? Are there any changes we need to make? On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate our relationship? If it's less than 10, what can I do to get to 10? And then she does the same. Ask you the same question. That's what it's about, okay? It's about having someone there witnessing your life, helping you maneuver through all the changes and challenges of life. right? Someone who has your back. But for that to work, you have to communicate. If you want a sexual relationship, you have to communicate. You have to let go of those barriers. And let me tell you, sex is important in a relationship. Sex is important to your physical health. Having an orgasm is important to your physical health. Yes, it's not the main thing. Don't make it a main thing. I have to have an orgasm. No. Be willing and open to whatever. Cuddling, whatever it is that you like to do, but be willing. If you've shut that off in your relationship, talk to your partner about it. It's an issue. It's a barrier to intimacy. All it requires is that you take little steps to heal these barriers, these reservations within yourself about yourself. That's all. And it won't be easy, but it's doable. And in the end, you will benefit and grow and have a fulfilling life and have a fulfilling sexual relationship with your partner. Well, thank you, dear hearts, for tuning in. I love you. I appreciate you. Be love. Be kind. Be gentle. Enjoy life. Know that you are amazing and wonderful. Till next time, I love you. Namaste.